preseason feel long for you guys? How exciting is it to wrap it up tonight?
Yeah, it's kind of a mixed emotions. It feels so long when you're starting, but also we're almost done now. So it's nice to obviously have pretty much our team around, and it's going to be a fun game tonight. I'm pretty sure they're going to put a good roster out there as well. So it's going to treat it like a normal game and last chance to get rolling before the regular season.
What are some of the things that you need to focus on and try and tighten up here?
I think good starts, I think, in general. Get off to a good start, just being ready to do the details and little things, from the drop of the puck. Can't really feel out games anymore. That's something we're pushing ourselves to be better at.
3 games, I think this will be your 3rd game tonight. Is that enough, in the end? Is that just the right amount?
That's plenty. Yeah.
Is it helpful to spend as much time as you have with Brock and PDG, given the likelihood that you'll start the season with them?
It's awesome, yeah. It's just how it's you don't stick with line mates for 82 games. We all know that, but we're we're low maintenance for each other, and I think it's fun to play like that. Typically, when we don't play well, we know why, and it's easy to hold each other accountable as a line if we all trust each other that we're doing the right things, and it all revolves around moving our feet, creating turnovers. I mean, that's how we have had a lot of our success. We haven't had a whole lot of pretty plays as a line. It's been pretty grindy, and we like playing like that.
The guys you've got on the power play unit, obviously, there's a lot of familiarity there, but still nice to take advantage of some reps if you get them tonight.
Yeah, it's great. Obviously during the preseason, you got half these guys in the first week I haven't seen at all. So it's nice to get out there and snap it around a little bit and just work on it. The power play just comes down to getting your habits and your instincts and your reads back, and it all comes down to shooting the puck a little bit too. So can't be afraid to pass up any shots tonight. They have a pretty aggressive PK, always have, and it'll be a good test for us.
I don't know if it's felt like a long preseason for you, but excited to wrap it up tonight and get focused on game number 1.
Yeah, I'm really. I just want to get the season. Like everybody, but you got to go through these processes. We've had some hard practices. We've, different lineups, things like that. Different places. So it's nice to get here in our building, settle down a little bit, and get that excitement. This opening of the NHL is going to be 5 days away, so we should be really amped up and excited about it.
No Guillaume Brisebois today?
Yeah, he got dinged up last game, so he's going to be out. If he wasn't dinged, he probably would have played. Yeah, it's either 8 and 13 or 7 or 4 the other way. We're still going through that. We'll probably talk about that. I think, I don't know, is there waivers on last day is Sunday or something? So I think we're going to have a couple of meetings here next couple of days.
You have Garland up with
Yeah.
something looking for next
Yeah, it could be a possibility. I think Garley's been a little bit of a buzzsaw in training camp, and I want to see him maybe adding some life to that line. Petey and Kuzi are dealing with a little bit of a viral thing right now, so but they're going to play. So maybe he can kind of add a little buzz to those guys, help them out tonight.
Rick, you've been working on a lot of detail with these guys. How hard is it to get a sense of if they're getting it when you don't have your true group all together at once? Or how do you feel everyone's grasping right now?
I think the work ethic and I think the structure has been good. I don't like our starts at all, and we have some staples here that we got to make sure that we are dialed in on our staples. I've seen a lack of a few things there, and that's why our starts have not been good. So that was our address today, and to me, that's the one. If I had the bone to pick with this team, it's our starts and not being ready to play. And ultimately, that's my fault. It comes to me, but they have to make sure that they take onus on starts and play to our identity. And it usually takes us a period to really kind of get it. If you look at the games, second and thirds have been some of our better periods, but the first period has not. That's why we're taking penalties, and every game, it's 3-4 penalties to start the game. So we're not ready to play.
Rick, we learned yesterday Stan Smeel stepping away from day-to-day ops, 45 years with the organization. I mean, you moved around as a player and as a coach. I mean, just the thought on 45 years with one organization, but also how well did you get to know him here, but you played against him too.
I played against
on Stan.
Yeah, he was one of the first guys when I got here. I mean, he called me a ton and gave me the lay of the land about Vancouver and the organization. I mean, to stay somewhere in 45 years, I mean, obviously you have to have high character, the way you play the game. I'm a big fan of Stan. And like I told him, my door's always open. He can bust in anytime we have a meeting. He's that type of guy. So a lot of respect for him. I hope I see his face around a lot more too.
Rick,
looks like a lot of different pairs that we haven't
Yeah.
really seen play in preseason together yet tonight. Same thing up front, with perhaps the exception of Miller's line.
Right.
Is it suboptimal in any way to still be tinkering, I suppose, at this point in the preseason?
Yeah, I understand some of the concerns, but I'm a puzzle guy. You know, it's okay to put pieces in here and there. I don't think it disrupts. You know, like I told you, you know, the great Scotty Bowman had pairs. Yeah, it's forwards. You know, he'd have two guys and he'd rotate. And remember when we won the Cup in Pittsburgh? I know it's a different team. Sid had 4 different wingers in a week. You know, Gensel, Rust, Sherry, Scott Will, like, and it's okay to do that. You know, you know, hopefully a guy has energy and he can go for 3 games. And then if he loses energy, you get somebody else in there. It's a similar kind of model, a little different here, but you know, Huggy is going to play some shifts with Hronik tonight. But we're going to try that tonight. So I think we're not scared to experiment, and I think that, you know, I don't think you have to play with this guy to have build chemistry all the time. I necessarily, yeah, sure, would you like 3 guys to play all the time together or 2 guys? But I think the way we're built, we're more of a committee team.
What have you not seen from Niels Höglander? We know he's sort of opened camp on that top line and won't be in the lineup tonight, which feels loaded given how close it is to your regular season opener. What more did you hope to see from him at training camp?
Yeah, I have a mind of it. I don't think it's a little bit of a numbers game with him. I'm still trying to see, you know, I want his, like, trying to find an identity. I still got to get him to understand his identity right now. You know, maybe me putting him with PD early kind of made him play a little bit different. I thought he was getting a little fancy out there, but, you know, he'll play. Whether he play, he might play opening, I'm not sure. I just think that, I think when he, you know, what I've been told and stuff, like, he's really like a buzzsaw out there, and we need him to play that way. And I've seen some of it, but not enough consistency. And we have some other guys, like, I think Joshua Dakota is a guy we got to get in the lineup, because I think he's taken the, whatever my opinion of him, and he's really played a little bit better, and he's got size. We need size, right? So Nils, he'll play. It's just a matter of when he plays, and we got to make sure he plays to his identity.
Rick, you just mentioned you'd like to see your team start these games better. Yeah. Last game, you talked about how good your penalty kill has looked in the preseason. You guys aren't giving up a lot of shots, and I know that you wanted the defensive play. If on that first day in Victoria, someone had told you your team will be at the stage it is today, would you have been happy with that? Do you feel like you've got the preparation in that you wanted to get into this point?
Yes and no. The structure part, I felt with new guys coming in, guys, you know, competing for jobs, I think guys have taken the information pretty well. I think our practices, we've had some outstanding practices. Exhibition, there's been pockets of the exhibition I have not liked. Whether that's, like I said, it's the important things that we have to value for the team we have here. It's very important that we value those little things. You know, we can't outscore mistakes. We can't outscore, you know, an unstructured team. We can't play 6-5 games. We just can't. So it's important that we stick to it. So there's some good and bad. But I give them a lot of credit. You know, we've been a lot of moving parts. You know, we've been to different places. You know, we're in different situations, and I think they've dealt well with it. So I'd just like to see us calm down right now and be ready for the Wednesday game, and it starts tonight.
And because it's your first camp, there obviously was a lot of instruction in this camp. Do you feel like do you wish you had more time? Do you feel like you've had to spend a lot of time where maybe you'd be generating momentum, instead you're just trying to get guys to understand how you want to play?
Well, it's twofold, right? You know, it's like you start a camp, or, you know, do you play most of your lineup all the time to be ready? Do you see who can play? You know, let's put this guy in the organization, see if he can play. There's a lot of moving parts. The one thing I do like is the fact that teams have had some possession time on us, and we've held the fort. You know, it might look bad sometimes, but, you know, you talk to Demmer and Casey Smith, I mean, they're kind of the gauge, right? They're saying it's not that bad for them. They feel that they can see the shots, or they know where the puck's coming from, and that's big. They're playing half the net. It's the stuff when you're unstructured, and, you know, it happened I think last game. You know, we actually were half decent, but they got that back door, you know, that Tovalin, like, you know, boom, boom, turnover in the net where a goalie has no chance. We got to eliminate those things. So that's been good. But, you know, listen, we got to start scoring goals. I mean, we need people that go to the front of the net and score those greasy goals. We haven't had those yet in camp, and that's one thing that, we got to get some guys that it's got to be uncomfortable for some guys, and it's got to be natural for them to go to those areas.
You come from, or you played in an era when you played like 10, 11 preseason games. You have just 6 this year, which I think is the fewest the Canucks have ever played. Is that enough games for everything you're trying to achieve?
Yeah, I mean, the games change. I mean, Gretzky reminded me like a week ago, he played, what did he play? He played 20-something in the playoffs, 82, add that up, played the Canada Cup, and he played 11 exhibition games. So he just told me to remind your players that. So, yeah. But he played, was that 150, 160 games one year? No, it's a different era, right? It's different. It's more of getting your team ready for Wednesday and the mindset of it. But is 6 games? Yeah, 6 and 7 games is enough for me. I like the practice time, especially when you have new guys. I think that's important, that guys know where they're on the ice. And then hopefully the chemistry and the cohesiveness works.
As we go into the final preseason game, what do you read into preseason performance? I mean, you've talked about the starts, but I don't think that's about winning the game for you so much as preparation, right? What do you sort of look to what you see in preseason? How much weight do you place in it in terms of evaluating the quality of your team going into this season?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I'm looking at it, obviously the team, but individuals in certain situations, like under pressure. Have we won enough battles for me? No. Have we got body position in certain situations under pressure? Not as good as I'd want. But I see guys understanding it and getting that information. That's my big thing. We got to make sure that we come up with loose pucks, and I think we're not there yet. We're not to that level. But the other stuff, yes. The work ethic. It's just that stuff that, being able to break out under pressure, like. How do you practice pressure? We practice it and practice a lot. This game here, I mean, I want to see guys under pressure here and how they, it's their last game before the regular season. So the value of it, exhibition games, I look at more individually than team, because I know there's a lot of new guys, but I look at certain guys in certain situations, how they're dealing with a forecheck, how a guy deals with a D dive play. Those are the information they get, and then applying it in the game. That's what I look for tonight. Yeah, sure, I want to win, but to me, those situational stuff for me.